Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of Top 5 here on Press TV. The United States has agreed to the sale of a second batch of Lockheed Martin F-35 fighter jets to Israel. According to Israeli media, the deal was concluded by U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel and his Israeli counterpart Moshe Yaalon. Under the deal, at least 25 warplanes will be sold to Israel. In 2012, Tel Aviv signed a $2.75 billion deal to buy a squadron of 19 F-35 fighter jets from the U.S. The delivery of the initial order will start by the end of 2016 and be completed by 2018. The first planes of the second squadron would start arriving in 2019. Israeli fighter jets killed a large number of Palestinians and destroyed thousands of homes during the latest offensive against Gaza in summer. Well, to discuss this further, let's go to Denver and talk to Yoram Abdullah Wheeler, columnist and editor with Tehran Times Daily. Welcome to the program, sir. Mr. Wheeler, what does this move by Washington tell the international community in light of Israel's recent war on Gaza?
Well, it certainly tells that the U.S. is going to continue its support for the Israeli entity, but the sale of these F-35 planes is very much a necessary boost for the U.S. defense industry. The F-35s have a rather interesting history. They go back to the original design conception in 1996, and they've had something like 13 groundings since just 2007. The original contract called for the F-35s to be put into operation in 2010, but with all of these redesigns, not only is it making it the most expensive weapon system in history, but it looks like deployment will not be until something like 2015. The problem with this contract, there are even engineers saying that this is going to be an embarrassment to the U.S., but it's very difficult to cancel these contracts because, for instance, as in the case of many contracts, the production of the components takes place in 45 states. So the U.S. congressmen are very aware that if they cancel this, it means losing somewhere in the vicinity of 130,000 jobs, which is expected to grow to about 260,000 in full production. One very interesting thing about this plane is that back in 2008, even at that time, there were so many problems with it that the analysts at Rand Corporation ran a computer simulation of this plane fighting against China. And guess what? China won. So that gives you some idea of really how poor this plane's performance has been. As far as what options Washington has, they could cancel this program if somehow or another they could revamp the F-22 program, but nevertheless, the F-22 was also plagued with technical problems, one of which was the deprivation of oxygen to the pilots. So this is really a very peculiar move on the part of Washington. Definitely, the Pentagon is not selling the Tel Aviv regime their best product.
Indeed. And now a general question. I mean, how much is the sale and purchase of weaponry between countries under the supervision of a higher international authority?
Well, in the case of the United States, it's the typical situation where the United States is essentially writing the international law, and if they choose to obey it, if it's in their interests, they will do so. If not, they won't. So you have a situation here where, since these planes, as you pointed out in your lead-in, indeed were used to kill Palestinians, technically speaking, they should not, the United States should not be delivering these weapon systems to the Israeli entity.
And briefly, how much has Israel become a liability for the U.S. because of Tel Aviv's crimes committed in the Palestinian territories?
Well, I think it's a substantial liability, and it's increasing, partially due to the economic situation that the United States is in right now, which is obviously sapping away at its international strength and its ability to get its own way in the international community.
All right, we'll leave it there for the time. Many thanks to Yoram Abdullah Wheeler, columnist and editor with Tehran Times Daily from Denver. Thanks for your time there, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.